Hey, welcome back to Get Down to Business. Today, we are zeroing in on a topic that we know is absolutely critical for the long-term health and stability of every small business. Yes, that's insurance, the safety net that protects your hard work, your employees, and your future. I'm thrilled to bring in our returning guest, Anthony DeGrado, State Farm Insurance. Anthony is an experienced insurance professional who specializes in helping small business owners navigate the complexities of this world. With his expertise in everything from general liability to commercial property to key person insurance, I know he provides the clarity and peace of mind that entrepreneurs need to focus on what they do best, growing their companies. Anthony, welcome back to Get Down to Business.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
You bet. Anthony, let's go back to the basics over here. For a new entrepreneur just starting out, because we've got folks that are tuning in, starting businesses each and every day, what are the 2 or 3 must-have insurance policies that they need, and what does each one cover?
So that's a kind of a broad question, but a very popular one, right? You got to make sure that when you are getting your insurance, that you're tailoring it to what you're doing. So as far as just general, you got to make sure that you're covering your liability. I'll beat that drum anytime I can. Liability is the biggest thing that you're insuring as a new business, because that is the one thing that will drain you in a lawsuit, is not having that liability coverage. Now, depending on what kind of business you're owning, you also got to make sure that you have your property covered, whether it's on-site or off-site. That's another big thing that I'll run into with contractors. They need to make sure they have that coverage. One last real quick one would be, the loss of use or maybe even the interruption of business. Because if someone steals your tools and you can't operate your business, there's no income. Make sure that you have those coverages on your policies.
I'm chatting with Anthony DeGrado, our insurance expert. And Anthony, as a business grows and starts hiring its first employees, how does a company's insurance needs change? What should a business owner be thinking about when they expand their team?
So when you're expanding your team, there's, again, more liability for sure. But also now you're going to be looking at workers' comp policy, right? Illinois, every state, you need to have that workers' comp policy. Workers' comp could be a very tricky thing to navigate as a business owner, as someone who doesn't do it every day. That's what the professionals are for. Make sure you're categorized properly, because all it takes is one incorrect categorization, and at the end of the year, you're getting a big bill from your workers' comp policy after you complete your audit. So that's a big one. As you're growing your business, make sure you're working with your insurance agent on keeping all your payroll categorized correctly for that workers' comp policy.
Chatting with Anthony DeGrado, State Farm Insurance. Anthony is absolutely the best in the business. And speaking of business, Anthony, so much business is being done online these days. Can you speak to what coverages those doing business online need to be aware of, and what kind of risks does that kind of coverage protect?
Yeah, we have a lot of online businesses. Everyone opens their business. The main driver is online. You got to make sure on those kind of situations, if you're selling things online, which is a lot of businesses, you got to make sure that your inventory is covered even if it's not on your site. A lot of people will use like a drop shipping, or they have a warehouse where they're going to have merchandise. That is still their merchandise. You got to make sure that that is covered on your policy. So if something does happen, even if it's not your fault, that merchandiser or whatever your supply house is could come through and say, yeah, that's not covered on our policy. That should be on yours. That's not a mistake you're going to want to make. Cybersecurity is another big one. You got to make sure that you're protected. That's something you're going to have to talk to your broker about, is that cybersecurity, because that could drain your company from top to bottom.
Anthony, policy is changing throughout the country. Frankly, each and every day, we would need a lot longer to talk about all of the legislation, but specifically in Illinois, where most of our listeners are, I know you keep your ear to the ground really, really closely. What kind of legislation or discussion has taken place that our small business owners, entrepreneurs should be paying attention to?
Yeah, right now it's a very, very hot topic for everyone, in the state of Illinois especially, but like you said, across the country. they are really, really honing in on, in the state of Illinois, they want to get their hands, the government wants to get their hands on how these policies are rated. And what they're doing is they are trying to manipulate what we can and can't use to rate people. So everyone needs to be on the lookout for these new changes. When you hear the governor of your state saying, we're going to get involved in insurance, that's not a great thing. They don't really know what they're doing. That's not their field. So when they take away things like, where you live, the age, that's very detrimental to people as far as their rates are concerned. There is no way an insurance company is going to be able to rate the risk appropriately if we can't rate you by your age, your gender, or your location. If you're in a city, you shouldn't be paying the same as someone who's out in the country. And that is what they're trying to mandate, is across the board changes so that everyone can pay equal rates. That's just never going to work, and it's something for everyone to be looking out for.
Well, the good news is I do know somebody that knows a lot about insurance and all of the things that business owners do need and how to keep costs down. And that's you, Anthony DeGrado. I want to make sure our listeners can get in touch with your agency. How can we do that?
So you feel free to give us a call at 847-895-1500, or you could always jump on our website, DeGrado, DeGradosF.com.
Anthony DeGrado from State Farm Insurance. We appreciate you being the guru for all things small business insurance coverage. Can't wait to have you back on real soon. Quick break here and get down to business. We'll be right back.